Welcome back to Real-ationship Goals, a podcast all about exploring the realities and complexities of healthy relationships. Real-ationship Goals is a project of the Prevention and Education team at the Advocacy Center for Crime Victims and Children in Waco, Texas. If you or someone you know has experienced sexual violence or harassment and is seeking support services or needs more information, links to resources and our hotline number can be found in the description. The views expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect those of their organizations or affiliates. Hey everybody, welcome back to this week's episode of Real-ationship Goals. We're so glad to be here with you. I'm Kyla.
Mariana?
I'm Maria.
Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and just dive right into the content of today's episode.
Yes. So today's episode, we are doing a media analysis over SZA's infamous song, Kill Bill. Warning, there is a sense of violence in this song, so just a little content warning, right? So Kill Bill is a song off her SOS album. The song references being vengeful and her executing a murder of her ex-boyfriend and new girlfriend. So this is an interesting song to dive into. So Maria, Kyla, what are our thoughts?
Yeah, she wilding out on this one.
It's very catchy though.
Yeah, and I think that's like a big issue too, that it's doing so much and people are like singing this at the top of their lungs. And when we go into like the lyrics a little bit more, like you'll understand why I'm like so conflicted about this song. And it's like, but it's a good song.
It can be catchy.
The impact of this song is so harsh, and people don't necessarily, when people listen to music, they don't necessarily think that deeply into what they're listening to. But with us just going into looking at the lyrics, it's like, oh, well, I've been singing this for this long and not realizing this is what it's pertaining to. And just the flow of the song and how it has like this melody to it. It's just like, it's really easy just to sing something and just not think about it.
So I'll say we can dive right in. First verse is I'm still a fan even though I was salty. Hate to see you with some other broad, know you happy. Hate to see you happy if I'm not the one driving. I'm so mature, I'm so mature, I'm so mature. Got me a therapist to tell me there's other men. I don't want none, I just want you. If I can't have you, no one should. So.
I mean,
Where to start?
Yeah. I think from the beginning would probably be the best part. So like the first one that I'm seeing that is kind of like, ooh, as the second line where she goes, hate to see you with some other broad, know you happy. And it's like that mentality of like, if I can't have you, like, why does someone else get to? Like, I want to be the one that makes you happy. Nobody else can make you happy. You can't make nobody else happy. And just like the language in it where she's like using that word and just like in a very negative connotation to actively put someone down is like a for me.
Yeah, specifically like using broad.
Yeah.
To refer to another woman.
Yeah. You'd be like, with that other girl. Like, you know, like there's
other words
wide range of,
use.
there's a dictionary.
Fair. Yeah. That one, I would say, got me a therapist to tell me there's other men. Bonus points for therapy. we trust, I would say trust the process. Maybe there should be a few additional therapy sessions if we're still feeling this way, is my thought. But
yeah. Because some of the lines you just referenced to how unhealthy / toxic relationships can form, you know, and also I feel like people should have an understanding that every relationship that you may have, whether it's with a romantic partner or so, it might not work out. And that's okay. All relationships don't work out all the time. But how we respond to relationships ending is what's important, and making sure it's a healthy response. So a lot of these lines in this song reference to very vengeful and a negative outlook. Even with the line, if I can't have you, no one should, it references to unhealthy characteristics in relationships arising, such as obsession, isolation, jealousy, manipulation, and things like that. And I think a big thing about how this song impacts society today, people can relate to it so much. And so when people are hearing the song, it's like, yeah, I feel that. But in reality, it's like, no, you shouldn't feel that. You need to talk to a therapist if you feel that way. Because, yeah, it's just very unhealthy.
Kind of like normalizing unhealthy relationships, like characteristics and standards of like, I'll say emotions and feelings are always okay, but how we respond to them is our responsibility, and our responses are not always okay. So yeah, I was gonna say something, but I'm like, but we're at the chorus, and I'll say what I was gonna say until after the chorus, whenever I'm talking about unhealthy responses. Maria, would you like to read our chorus for us?
I sure might. So it goes, I might kill my ex, not the best idea. His new girlfriend's next. How'd I get here? I might kill my ex. I still love him though. Rather be in jail than alone.
So unhealthy responses to feelings. Violence is never okay. That's a P&E gold standard no. For both your ex and also his new girlfriend, and also just anyone in general. So just kind of like these lyrics also just normalize violence in addition to, and I think we're so quick to, whenever something is so catchy as this, says you've created a very catchy song. It is, yes, it is so popular. It is so good. Sometimes I think, like you said, our brains are so quick to go, ooh, fun tune, that we kind of dive in it and we allow ourselves to kind of like steep in these kind of thoughts and in these behaviors. And like we've posted some on our social media of like, you like produce plants like flowers and like fruit and like vegetables and your like characteristics and your actions and your thoughts that come from the soil that you're planted in. So if you're like steeping yourself and growing yourself in unhealthy soil, you're going to produce unhealthy, toxic fruits. So there's nothing like I'm not telling you can't listen to this song. I not super often, because I listen to a lot of things, but I do sometimes listen to this song.
Yeah.
Because it's fun. It's a fun, catchy song. But we just want to encourage you, with all things that you listen to, with all media you consume, to take a second to really kind of like analyze what's going on. Like you can listen to it, but we just want you to be aware of it so that you're not like subconsciously or unconsciously absorbing some like thoughts, because otherwise like the next time you have a relationship and you might catch yourself being like, oh, well, if I can't have him, no one can. Or I don't want you to be happy if it's not with me. We don't want you to be feeling that way. That's not good for you. That's not good for them. We should, not to be a cheesy parent, but we just want what's best for you. We want you to be happy and healthy. Genuinely.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. But that's my soapbox. What other thoughts do we have on the chorus?
I think that last bit where she's like, rather be in jail than alone, like, man, I'm a huge proponent of being able to sit with yourself and feel comfortable with yourself and love yourself. So like just being like, man, I'd rather be like incarcerated than having to like sit by myself and like do all these things. I think part of that, like even like taking that a little bit, analyzing that a little bit further, is like rather than like worrying on myself and like going through all these issues, like homegirl, once again, therapy, she's beautiful.
She works wonders. But yeah, even with that last line, having healthy relationships with yourself is very important after you experience a breakup or an unhealthy toxic relationship, it's really not worth you putting your life at risk and your mental health at risk and emotional health at risk. Because yes, you might have these high intense feelings of, oh, I'm so sad that this is going on. I'm frustrated that this person that I loved is now with another person. Yes, your feelings are valid and you can have those feelings, but also your focus should be shifted to you now because you are the important person right now that you need to focus on.
Absolutely. And I think also just kind of like pulling back from like the narrative of the song and just kind of thinking about the impact of the song also is communicating a message of it's so important that you be in a relationship. You are not worth as much. You are not as good. You're never going to be as happy or as complete if you're not in a relationship. And that's just so not true. Yeah, for sure. So it's just more of the, if you are in the space, especially if you're coming from like a friendship or like a romantic relationship that is ending, and there's a lot of hurt in that, that's whenever it's even the most important that you have a healthy relationship with yourself and that you care for yourself and you give yourself that space to heal. So because you're worth that, like you are worth having a healthy relationship with yourself, your worth and the love that you deserve does not just come from like another person. So we want to do our second verse.
I get the sense that it's a lost cause. I get the sense that you might really love her. The text gonna be evidence. This text is evidence. I tried to ration with you. No murders or crime of passion, but you was out of reach. You was at the farmer's market with your perfect peach. Now I'm in amazement, planning home invasion. Now you laying face down, got me singing over a beat.
Love the farmer's market.
Farmer's market with your
That's
perfect
true.
peach.
I don't know in what sense peach would be used, but
Go visit your local farmer's market.
get peaches.
But
Yeah, but it just shows how this song is still like it's premeditated. You're having these thoughts and then you're going deeper into these thoughts. So you're well aware of the kind of thoughts that you're having about this. And you also know that it's not good because, you know, some of the verses say, I might kill my ex, not the best idea. So you're well aware though.
It is a terrible idea.
It's a terrible idea, but those high intense emotions and feelings that you have are kind of overtaking you as a whole. And it just goes to show how some songs can put out the narrative of fantasizing unhealthy toxic relationships. Like, oh, I wish I had somebody that thinks about me like that.
Romanticizing
It's
it.
glorifying
Yes.
putting these
Yes.
unhealthy characteristics on like a relationship up on a pedestal and everything. Like with some of the youths that I've interacted with, and even like within my family and like within like the community, like I have seen people who are like, if this isn't the kind of love I'm getting, like I don't want it. And I'm like, you don't want it, like you really don't want it. You really don't want it.
You think you want it, but you don't want it and you don't need it.
Yeah, you don't need to put yourself through all of that.
That's not love.
It's obsession.
It's obsession, right? Some people confuse it with, oh, they just love me. They just love me so much. No, there are big red flags in that. That's obsession that could possibly lead to other things and also to things that you might not be able to turn back from. Consequences that you're not able to turn back from.
And really also at the root, not to get too abstract, but at the root of obsession is like objectification of another person. Like all throughout this is just a sense of ownership.
Yes.
You belong to me. Like you're mine. I don't like that someone else has you. And because of that, I'm gonna lash out. So it's at this point, this ex isn't even like a person. This isn't an equal. This isn't a partner. This is an object to be had and to possess.
Almost like property.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to point out what you were just saying, like, made me think of something else. Like, this is someone who identifies as a female singing this about a male partner. But, like, what if the roles were reversed? Like, would this still be
As popular.
and glorified? Because then people would be like, nah, like, that guy's
Creepy.
yeah, creepy. Like, you don't need something like a guy like that, you know? And it
That
I
is
don't know.
interesting.
That just had me thinking about that and, like, some double standards that exist within the music industry and other things that we're going to be analyzing this season as well.
Yeah, where it's kind of more acceptable because it's like, oh, well, a woman should be that obsessive over her man or XYZ. And it, like you said, it's just that huge double standard of, oh, well, this is okay. Oh, well, it's cute. Oh, well, things like that. And it's like, no, it's still unhealthy.
Yeah.
It's still bad.
Yeah.
Please don't do this. But no, that's, yeah, super true. And then just kind of cap off our lyrics. We also have the bridge. We're not repeating the chorus because we've already
Done that.
addressed the chorus. But the bridge says, I did it all for love. I did it all on no drugs. I did all this sober. I did it all for us. And then that repeats, and then it says, don't you know I did it all for us?
Oh, good, your ex tonight in parentheses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the bridge.
I mean, I'm glad she is sober. You know, like, if something positive. I don't like that she's using love to justify all of these things. Like you were saying earlier, like, you're allowed to feel these ways, but it's like taking accountability for your own actions. Like, love didn't make you do this. Like,
It's rooted in something else.
Yeah.
It's not rooted in love. It's rooted in
Yeah.
something else.
Also, yeah, recognizing, no, it's not. You didn't do this for love because this isn't love. This isn't what love is. It's not what it looks like. It's not how love behaves.
love does not hurt.
Yeah. Love does not kill.
Also reiterates how you're very, very, very well aware of the thoughts you're having and the actions you are willing to take upon, like, keeping this relationship. So it's still rooted in obsession, wanting to own this person. And the thing about that is like, we don't own anybody. Nobody owns us, and we don't own anybody. People are free to break up. People are free to get back together. People are free to do a lot of different things. But it's just like, you're not in ownership of anybody. They're not property. They're human beings. Yeah.
Big brain.
Any other parting thoughts for Kill Bill? Do you take that or? Okay, cool. So we'll hop back in. We're in the zone. We're in the zone. Okay. Well, that's a good spot for us, I think, to transition into our relationship goal for this week, which I have, which is to put together a healthy relationships playlist. So because the media that we consume impacts the way that we think, our emotions, and how we engage with the people around us. I've talked a little bit before about how I am trying to be more intentional about listening to uplifting and like music that makes me feel good whenever I'm driving to go see my partner, because if I'm only listening to Olivia Rodrigo or like angry breakup music, that impacts me and the way then like our first moments of engagement, because it puts me in a different kind of mindset. And that's not something I want to be fostering with our time together. So I want to go into that with a specific mindset. So take a little bit of time to put together a playlist that encourages healthy relationship habits in your life. And then Maria has our recommendation for today.
Like, if you're watching this on YouTube, you are seeing me play with this little stuffing thing. So it's a cylinder. So it's like getting into our Instagram captions, like,
Yeah.
it's a fidget cylinder, orange.
Like a stretchy worm.
She's stretchy, she's sticky. You can make her into a pretzel or not a pretzel. But yeah, this has been wonderful. If you'll see me using these like in podcasts, just to, like, fidget, they can't sit still, and it has like a little like citrusy smell.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's my one of these things. I'm gonna find out what they're called, but
Stretch fidget.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all for this week's episode of Real-ationship Goals. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Real-ationship Goals. This episode was produced by the Prevention and Education Department of the Advocacy Center for Crime Victims and Children in Waco, Texas. Interested in more content from P&E or the Advocacy Center? You can follow us on Instagram at ACCVC_prevention or on Instagram and Facebook at Advocacy Waco. Be sure to like this episode and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time. Bye.